Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in my last video, we covered the part of e-commerce agent, like customer care agent. This will be specifically for setting up evaluations, like how we set up real evaluations for the agent, how the prompt work, tools calling, and how's the output using like LLM as a judge or even normal assertions. The first thing is like why do we need evals? So we have created the agent. Now the issue is there might be cases of hallucination, there might be cases of wrong tool selection or something which is not reproducible every time, but something which model can behave differently on different inputs. We cannot obviously test all the inputs. So what we usually do is we usually set up evaluations, which basically keeps on evaluating your agent on changing inputs. So there can be multiple ways for setting up evals. There can be some live evals or some offline evals. Live evals are basically the evals which run on each and every, like let's say your a real user is using your agent on production. There might be inputs, there might be tool calls going on, there might be turns going on. So if we are evaluating at that place, then it's a live evaluation. And the offline evaluation is the one which we will do today, which is basically evaluating our agents on number of test cases that we think the agent should work fine on. Though there is not any standard way of setting up agent evals, there are a lot of frameworks, there are a lot of libraries like LangGraph, LangChain, which can help you set up evals. But in our agent, not using any library, any framework. Also remember, if you use any of the library, any of the framework, they inject their own system prompts on top of your prompt to make things better, but that will eventually end up, like you will eventually end up paying more for it. All right, I guess enough of theory. So let's jump right into the code. You so we have everything in this file, like the run agent and each and every part of the thing is tightly coupled to this route, which is /API/chat. Now we have decoupled it, like we have extracted this method and added it in some other module so that we can test this without, like without the stream and all, because this is again something which UI uses and not something which we need to test. Like obviously we can test the streams and all as well, but this is not specifically for it. All right, also there's a framework which make things very easy, which is PromptFoo, which can help you in testing your prompt, setting up proper CI/CD and all of those things. I highly recommend this. Like if you go to their GitHub, there is standard way to set it up, and it generates some reports and all. Like it provides your full testing framework. But for our simple agent, we do not need all of these because we have some specific use case, and those use case can be tested in silos. Let's jump in the code. Let me show you how my run agent looks like now. Again, it is the same method that we have defined in our previous video. The only part that changed is we are tracing it now. Like we are adding traces in our own database, which like record traces for a lot of things, which include all of these like latency, rounds, user message, placeholder, map, and all of those things. Traces are like very useful because whenever an agent runs, there is no way you can know what the agent provided to user until unless there is some logs or something. So just think of it as logs, agentic logs, where you add all the traces related to the turn which held between user and assistant, so that you know why the agent breaks or where the agent breaks. Alright, nothing have much change. Just we are returning few more things for like adding traces, like all of these things. So let's go to our eval setup. So I will go in the files one by one. This is a normal assertion file which have asserting for the output. Like you can think of it something like if this thing is there in the output or not. So let me just show you a few tools, which is asserting no error, that there is no error. Then there is no tool calls. Then the latency was less than what we have as our max. And then some PII like percent information is not leaked inside. Alright, let's go to the main file, which is cases. So these are all the cases that we have for our agent, which we are like checking for normal order queries, product searches, email first. So see, this is a specific case where if let's say user asks where is my order and there is no prior information of customer who the customer is, then the agent should be asking for the email or for the order ID. So this is the criteria that we have for the judge. Like we are using LLM as a judge, which basically is nothing than just passing in your data to an LLM and asking it, hey, whether this data will satisfy the user query and the response satisfy the user query or not. So that's the exact purpose of LLM as a judge. And then let me show you something like product information, quality and all. then multi-turn, multi-reminder, all of those things, then out of stock, PII, not leaking. So all these are things which we have set up using LLM as a judge, and these are part of end-to-end testing, which basically calls the run agent method, gets the output, pass it to the agent, then this criteria gets passed to the agent, then agent gives score from 0 to 1. If we have a score more than, let's say, 70%, then we consider it a successful case, else we do not consider it as a successful case. All right, so this is our client.mjs, which basically have a method for calling the agent, which basically makes a API request to our slash API slash chat endpoint, which is a part of end-to-end testing, so that we test the complete output as well as test the quality of the output. Same thing what we do in front end, we just collect the response, parse the events, and that's the only work of call agent. This is used inside running the conversation, which runs the conversation, multi-turn conversation, and then returns whatever we need from it. This is parsing event, this is base event, all of the thing we have already discussed in a previous video that's used in front end. This have some other things, which is time to first text and then latency and all of those things, which are used by the agent to judge the output. Then we have some component test, which is, you can think of it as unit test, which does not need anything, like does not need LLM, does not need, and we can use Jest as well, which is a popular testing framework, but I do not want to make this complex. Then this is basically setting up the configurations. This is our LLM as a judge setup, which basically have some methods, and it basically reasons score in 0 to 1, plus the reasoning why it chose something and why it grades something. This is a simple prompt for a judge, like if you are an e-commerce customer care AI agent evaluator, just evaluate from the data you have, and we are passing it the criteria and all of those things. This is the judge, this is the system prompt that we create. We pass in user message, pass in the complete conversation, pass in the criteria that we want to be satisfied, then pass in the tool results, pass in the final message. All of the basically whatever is a part of a turn gets passed to the agent, and we ask it to judge it and give it a score and also the reasoning, just preparing the object and then just returning it. This is for mocking out the models and all, because we need to run our component test. Then this is to create a report. This is basically running the test, which we run by some commands, which I will show you by package.json. We have few commands built in, which is evals, npm run eval no judge, which does not use any LLM as a judge, and then calling out methods, checking if it is asserted to true or not, and then creating the final output, writing it in the report, and then just returning it. This is for setting up environment for the test. And let me show you sample report, how a report looks like. I just created a report. So we have 16 cases that we have defined, and out of 16, 15 are passing. One which is not passing, I will just show you. This is not passing because the latency is higher than what we expect. It's literally calling multiple tools, getting multiple outputs, and then sending it to the LLM. So obviously it will take some time. Alright, let me show you some test cases. So this is ordering basic, which is basically getting customer information. So there are some criteria that I've already covered. So I hope you found something useful. Now I will combine all the code and add it to a GitHub repository, so that you can take a reference, clone it, and take a look and test it out. You can get your Gemini key for free from Google. Like, just create a Google Cloud account, or directly going to Gemini and creating a project, and then test it out, so that you will get some practical knowledge on how things work inside an agent. All right, that's how evals are there. So there, again, I am repeating, there are a lot of frameworks which you can use, but for a simple agent I would recommend do not go with any framework, because our tools are called. So if you like the video, just hit the like button. If you found anything useful, if you want to know anything, just comment it out.